do you like your pros? Seasoned? Sly?
Running hot in this tournament is unlike anything else. You know, building a big stack, you have such a feeling of power, and you can win so much money.
Confident?
I promise you I'll get my time. That's a promise.
Or just plain excitable?
Yes! Yes! Yeah, give me one round for excessive celebration, please.
For a big-name pro to reach the November 9, he must first make day 6.
Give me ace queen. We're going to war.
That can happen tonight. Hi, everyone. Welcome back for the conclusion of Day 5 of the World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. All the jockeying for position has come down to this. Survive tonight, and you're on to Day 6. Gunslinger David Bach right now has the most bullets.
He is both the current chip leader and the current leader in total massages.
Ben Lamb has avoided danger all main event long.
He is a former chip leader. He dresses in white or he dresses in black. There's no in between.
Alan Cunningham is one of the most dangerous players remaining.
He's so good, Lon, I believe he could win the main event without ever having the chip lead.
Well, I keep telling you guys, excellent laydown. You keep making good laydown.
Jean-Robert Balland is, well, Jean-Robert Balland. Elia Lesra is a member of Israel's A team, but with a short stack.
He does have that George Papard, Hannibal Smith look going.
And young German pro Max Heinzelmann is still alive.
Trying to become the first player to win the main event, wearing a Rorschach test on his shirt.
Heinzelmann has fallen off our leaderboard, but other big names have not. Bach on top, another young German pro, Peus Heinz over the 4 million mark in second. Lamb, Johnson, and USC Phildo Collins round out the top 5.
That's a pretty young group. David Bach, easily the oldest at 39.
Current payout, $47,000 plus cab fare to the airport. Jean-Robert Balland, 7-6 of spades. A raise to $50,000. Alan Cunningham with king-queen off in the big blind.
This will be blind versus blind. Of course, with my new super blind proposal, there would be 3 blinds in every hand, but nobody listens to me.
I like the idea more and more. Alan makes the call. He'll go up against the former Fei Lung tribe member when Jean-Robert was on Survivor China. Trey, deuce 8 misses both players.
Can we start the handover and maybe get better cards?
Balland checks. Cunningham got no piece of that. He checks. Turn card. Another deuce.
Cunningham with 5 bracelets. Balland looking for his first. In 2008, he had a 19-1 chip lead heads up against Matt Graham for a limit hold'em bracelet, but Graham won.
Balland now bets over half the pot, $75,000.
Jean-Robert has the right idea here.
He has had the right idea against Alan a lot at this featured table. Alan does fold.
The bluff works. Jean-Robert again out of position gets the better of Alan Cunningham.
That's a bad laydown, wasn't it?
Good laydown, buddy.
You always say that. You always say good laydown, buddy.
It's called positive reinforcement. You ever heard of Pavlov's theory? He was the one who, like, conditioned the dog. You ring a bell, and right before dinner, and then soon when the ring the bell, the dog starts salivating because he knows it's chow time. So I keep telling you guys, excellent laydown. You keep making good laydowns.
As Day 5 winds down and the 2011 main event reaches its later stages, decisions become magnified. Making excellent laydowns keep you in the game, but acquiring chips is still the prime directive. And as an example of how much the stakes have been raised, consider that the Day 1 starting stack of 30,000 chips now equals the total of the small and big blind.
If I know nothing about no-limit hold'em, Lon, and it is possible I know nothing, I do know that aggression pays. Aggression wins. But you have to pick your spots. Unbridled aggression, like we saw from Patrick Poirier and Manoj Viswanathan, eventually costs you. But bridled aggression, yes, bridled aggression, like we've seen from Ben Lamb and even Jean-Robert Balland, can get you to the final table. So my know-nothing advice is bet a lot, but don't bet too much.
Good advice, Norman. The average stack right now in the room, about 1.2 million. Under the gun is Blake Bond, 39-year-old from Burnsville, on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole cam, ace-9 off.
Nah, why bother?
He does fold. Evan McNiff with pocket sixes.
McNiff studied computer engineering at Rochester Institute of Technology for 2 years before turning to poker.
He's got the second biggest stack at the table with almost 1.9 million. He raises to 42,000. Bolivar Palacios, Panamanian pro, folds a suited ace-8.
Palacios, a Florida State grad in industrial engineering. We get a lot of engineering types at the main event, and then we get Jean Robert.
Folded to Jean Robert with pocket queens, and he makes the call. And there's the beauty of Ballon's active style, Norman. Once in a while, he actually gets a hand. Over to Visser, queen jack into the muck. So it'll be heads up, McNiff and Ballon.
Jean Robert actually has a marketing degree from Azusa Pacific University.
Tray 5-10. McNiff gets no help, still behind.
McNiff has 5 World Series cashes.
The poker pro from San Diego checks. Ballon checks.
Jean Robert in trapping mode.
Turn card another 10. McNiff still a huge underdog.
Jean Robert with a lot of respect for McNiff's play.
McNiff will give him something to think about. A bet of 72,000. Ballon with queens up now makes a raise to 200,000.
Jean Robert springs his trap. Remember, Ballon checked in position on the flop, so McNiff confounded now by the raise. Ballon wearing his trapping gear today.
McNiff looks like he might stick around. He does make the call, not believing Jean Robert.
That is one serious looking trapper.
McNiff looking for something, and that deuce does not help him at all, and he decides to check. Ballon.
Jean Robert putting together a bet with his right arm, but I do believe his left arm will come into play before this wager is over.
Oh, and there is the left arm in play. You're right, Norman. 350,000.
Yeah, I've been around the farm a long time, Lon. Jean Robert betting about 2/3 of the pot.
Oh, I call.
And McNiff will pay off Jean Robert.
Nice check on the flop.
Now you represented it.
Pardon me?
Now you represented it right.
I didn't represent it. That time I represented ace queen.
I thought you had your king's face.
What's that? I had my
think-
king's face on?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was really serious.
Jean Robert got max value from his queens.
No, king's face doesn't check the flop.
King's face, queen's face, nicely done.
Jean Robert's a real player now, cracking the 2 million chip mark. It's quite an accomplishment to finish any day of the main event with chips. Right now, 168 players vying for a spot in the November 9. Ben Lamb right there is back at our secondary table, sitting with over 4 million chips. No one within striking distance, though this table is loaded with Steve Brecker, Peter Feldman, and Tony Hashem, all very dangerous players. Action on Hashem right now with ace-queen offsuit.
Hashem won back-to-back Player of the Year awards on the Australia-New Zealand Poker Tour in 2009 and 2010.
We saw him at an outer table, jawing with Ben Lamb. Right now, a raise to 55,000.
Fold around the Tony, he's going to raise it up.
Fold it over to poker pro Steve Brecker. Throws 5 tray into the muck. Lamb folds to Peter Feldman with pocket 9s, known as Nordberg.
This is Nordberg's 3rd main event cash in 5 years.
He calls.
Peter will make the call.
Dwayne Alexander folds. Big blind, Neil Charlton. 7 deuce into the muck. So heads up, Hashem and Feldman. Flop. 6-8 queen, top pair, top kicker for Tony Hashem.
Tony and Joe Hashem, pretty talented brother combo on the felt, considering they once had real jobs.
Hashem bets 80,000.
Nordberg holding that spot on his head that hurts just a little.
Nordberg probably hurting because there's an overcard in that flop. He does make the call, though.
Peter makes the call.
By the way, could 2 brothers really win the main event? Really?
That would be something. Turn card. 4 of spades. Hashem is still best.
You got close to a mil?
No. I got 700 behind or something. 750.
Close to a mil.
Hashem checks this time,
I check.
as does Nordberg. River card. Deuce of clubs. So Feldman comes up short. Hashem checks.
Hashem got real crafty with top pair, top kicker.
125.
I call.
I have 2 9s.
And the queens will win it for Hashem.
Sweet bet.
Nordberg kicking himself for the value bet, but I would have thought 2 9s were good too at that point.
Hashem now with almost 1.9 million.
Joe Hashem, world champ in 05. Tony Hashem, world champ in 2011.
Tony does have a fighting chance with just 166 players remaining. Almost 206 million chips in play. The average stack about 1.2 million. Back to our featured table now.
If you wonder why sometimes we talk over Jean Robert's talk, you have to understand that Jean Robert is always talking.
Over halfway through the main event, and if players thought the first few days were tough to navigate, well, stick around another day or so.
You're here because you played poker. Some people are here because they got some good hands.
Is that you?
You're here because you play poker. Huh? That's how I got here?
He is quite entertaining to have at the table. Evan McNiff on the button with ace-queen off.
McNiff actually underwent special elective surgery just before this featured table so that he literally cannot hear Jean Robert.
A raise to 42,000. Folded to Sebastian Rutenberg in the big blind. The top stack here with pocket fives.
In 2008, Rutenberg won a World Series bracelet and a European Poker Tour title.
6-bet all in with ace-6 against Sean Deed.
And he will make the call for 22,000 more and go heads up with McNiff.
I played with him yesterday.
Flop, Jack 9-9, pocket fives, joined by the pair of nines on board. Still best for Rutenberg.
Rutenberg was 16th in this year's 50K Poker Players Championship.
He does not check to the razor. He bets 50,000.
McNiff just with the ace-queen, and we hate ace-queen.
But I mean, how sick
And
is
he
that
will
that
make the
has
call.
McNiff up to no good with that call. Ace-queen is a loser.
That's what Rutenberg is hoping. Turn card deuce of hearts, no help to McNiff.
He's got that same dumbfounded look on his
Rutenberg
face.
reaching for chips once again.
I thought the call on the flop would slow down Rutenberg, but it does not.
You know what I'm talking about?
86,000 this time.
Well, if McNiff was calling the flop to bluff the turn, it's time to bluff, though that deuce is not a good bluffing card.
McNiff just with ace high, reaching for chips now. I guess he's counting on Rutenberg having no piece of that board or a pocket pair. And he makes the call.
There are his chips. If McNiff wants to call, he can call.
All right, the river card. A king of hearts. McNiff left with ace high. Rutenberg checks this time.
King of hearts, now that's a good bluffing card. And it looks like McNiff is going to get frisky with Squadouche.
Well, McNiff stuck with Rutenberg the whole way. And now an opening here on the river. And McNiff bets 192,000.
Rutenberg can't like it now. I don't think he can call now.
Now he put himself in this awkward spot. He calls.
Ace high.
Ace high, almost good, but it won't beat the pocket fives. Balak can't believe Rutenberg made that call.
Team Germany. Team Germany, yay.
Team Germany knows how to pick off bluffs.
A good day for Rutenberg, 1.7 million to the positive, up to almost 2.9 million for the main event.
Wow, now I know why you and David Bach have all the chips. They're the two guys that never ever fold.
She won't care, right?
Have you lost your mind?
Just 192.
You just decided that you were a genius?
You know that line of juniors
It was
and
a perfect bet. Looked like a nice value bet.
Luckily, Rutenberg's stack size allowed him to afford that call on the river, win or lose. All right, back to the outer tables. On the right, another strong German player, Max Heinzelmann, with ace-10. He re-raised Kyle Johnson pre-flop. Johnson with queen-9 suited owes 151,000 for a call, but instead he raises to 625.
Sometimes you fight aggression with aggression, but Lon, your aggression should be bridled.
Heinzelmann,
Max looks calm, but he plays furious.
he can appreciate aggression, and he makes the call for 349,000 more.
Heinzelmann not in the 5-bet mood. He might have hit his 5-bet quota for the month by day 3.
Max started the hand with 3.2 million. Johnson with 2.5 million. The flop now. Queen 8-8. Kyle Johnson flops queens up. He's got a huge advantage.
Johnson, 22-year-old Canadian, has a finance degree from the University of Alberta. That doesn't prepare you, though, for the likes of Max Heinzelmann.
But this is Kyle Johnson, a bet of $300,000 into a pot of almost $1.4 million.
$300,000? That's chump change to my man, Max. That's an invitation for him to run over you with nothing.
Heinzelman with a big stack of the green. $805,000 total.
You see, not only does Heinzelman repop you with nothing, he puts that 5,000 chip on top. Max has a contorted mastermind.
Johnson has the best hand, though.
Come on.
And re-raises all in.
Game over. Johnson sees through it brilliantly, Lon, and Max has bluffed off a huge chunk of his stack and now must go back to the laboratory and concoct some other freakish scheme.
Well, Heinzelman just trying to save face now, and he does fold. And look at Johnson, Norman. I don't think he was breathing through the whole hand.
Kyle Johnson cracks the Max Heinzelman code.
Johnson over 4 million chips now. Heinzelman's aggression got thrown back in his face, losing nearly half of his stack. Much of the power that carried him this far in the main event is gone. Everything moves quickly at the main event. One day you survive with ace-6 off. A couple of days later, you lose half your stack with ace-10. Such is the life of Max Heinzelman. Inside the Amazon room, German Payus Heinz, the new chip leader with nearly 5 million. David Bach has added 3 million to his stack today, but is in second place. Local pro Brian Devonshire has taken time off from building chip castles to rake in a few big pots. Phil Collins has chipped up nicely from just over 1 million to over 3.5 million. Then there's Eric Lindgren, who ended day one with just 3,700 chips. Here on day 5, he's at 428,000. Short stack, but still around. All right, let's get back to the secondary feature table. Ben Lamb has 4 million chips, pocket aces, and a shot to knock out David Labchuk, holding pocket jacks.
41-year-old Canadian chiropractor, the designated Ben Lamb victim of the moment.
Here's the flop. 8-5 king, and slowly the tournament life being sucked out of Labchuk and the jacks.
Labchuk looking around for his car keys, which is curious because he flew here from Calgary.
All right, turn card now. 9 of diamonds. Labchuk down to his last card.
Labchuk looking for a 2-outer. Only a jack does it, or Ben Lamb has rung up another one.
The river card, the tray of spades. Lamb making the aces sing while eliminating David Labchuk. And Lamb makes his railbird sing also.
He's a rock star.
So boring, that flop. No sweat.
Tony Asham, of course, always pleased to see Ben Lamb stacking chips.
Another big pot for Lamb as he cements his stature as a full-time poker pro.
Ben Lamb, 26 years old, Las Vegas, Nevada. You know, Pogs, the fad, you know, they had in like the 90s. I remember we would play Pogs, and we would play if you won the Pogs, you'd keep them. And I remember I had all the Pogs. I developed a system, you know, to get all the Pogs. You know, that was, I guess, the first gambling I did. It's about 2nd grade. Just out here trying to get all the Pogs, I guess. When I told my mom and dad I was gonna be a professional poker, they obviously thought I was a pretty big idiot. And, you know, I was. It definitely was a stupid thing for me to drop out of college. I'm really happy with my decision now, as are my parents now. Where am I, Amy and RJ? We'll need another one after that. I don't really believe in luck in any way. You know, poker is a game of skill. Luck is like, you know, magic to me. It's like something that doesn't exist. You're trying to, you know, tell me that the cards can change or something. The cards are set, you know, it's just however you play. And I mean, I don't know if I'm a killer underneath. You know, when people are gambling with each other, they're both trying to get each other. So it's not really I'm a killer. I'm just trying to beat you in the same game you're trying to beat me, and I don't want to lose, so I want to win.
As a 7-year-old, he was a great pot limit Pogs player, but mostly cash. His parents wouldn't let him travel the tournament Pogs circuit.
2011 might be the year of the rabbit in Chinese culture, but here at the World Series, it's been the year of Ben Lamb, winning his first bracelet, a runner-up finish, a final table at the Poker Players Championship, and a deep run here at the main event. He's guaranteed a payout of almost $55,000 now with 160 players remaining. Ben has almost quadrupled his stack here on this day 5 with ace-king off.
Doesn't hurt when you're getting aces, ace-king.
A raise to 45,000.
Ben Lamb's 2011 World Series of Poker is starting to look a lot like Michael Mizrachi's 2010 World Series of Poker.
Good point. Folded over to Neil Charlton, 28-year-old from Cardiff, Wales. On the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Holcam, Queen 10 of spades. He plays mostly pot limit Omaha, as he calls for 45,000, but says he sees value in the main event, so steps outside his comfort zone to play no limit hold'em. Folded to Tony Hashem. 10-5 in the big blind.
Hashem laying in the weeds for Ben Lamb, but 10-5 off isn't the time to pounce.
No, he does fold. Ben Lamb with ace-king against Charlton with queen 10. The flop, king 8, Jack. Top pair, top kicker for Ben Lamb. Welcome to Ben Lamb's World Series. Lamb bets 80,000.
When Lamb bets, it's like dropping chips off a chip cliff.
An open-ended straight draw for Charlton.
Charlton graduated from Nottingham University, often called the Maryland of the UK.
Charlton with a raise to 195,000.
And just like this Maryland grad, Charlton picks a tough spot to semi-bluff. What everyone needs to start realizing is he's Ben Lamb and you're not.
And Lamb with the steely, cool eyes makes the call.
In his spare time, Ben does like staring at other people.
Turn card is at 10, and that pairs Charlton, but Lamb's still ahead. He checks this time. Charlton checks.
At least Charlton's semi-bluff earned him a free card.
River card, 5 of hearts, does nothing for Charlton. And they both check. And Lamb shows the pair of kings that will win the pot.
Neil tosses them in, and Ben will take down this pot.
And there's the rail.
Happiest rail west of the Mississippi.
Lamb vowed to take better care of himself at the World Series, saying no alcohol. I don't think that applies to his rail. Ben Lamb getting stronger. Back inside the Amazon room, Lon McCarron with Norman Chad and Kara Scott. Day 5 of the main event coming to a close tonight. At the featured table, action has been folded to Jean-Robert Ballon with pocket jacks. He has just under $2 million. He raised to 50,000. Cunningham with king jack offsuit.
And the great Alan Cunningham appears to be a little off here on day 5.
Cunningham with the button. There's the Alan Cunningham we know and love. A re-raise to 130.
A 3-bet, bridled aggression.
Jacob Baisley in the small blind, ace-8 of hearts.
Baisley was a 2-time All-Gulf South Conference basketball player at Division II Christian Brothers University in Memphis. And then he was an assistant coach there for a couple of years before turning to poker.
Known as Baysman 11 online with almost $3 million in online earnings. And with the suited ace, he's going to repop it to 250,000.
That's unbridled aggression, like Lon.
And you're sitting how deep?
800.
Strong play by Baisley from the small blind, representing a lot of strength.
But the second shortest stack at this table.
130, you make it 250?
Ballon with the best hand,
Scary.
but maybe Baisley with the best plan.
All right.
Ballon giving up the jacks.
And Alan Cunningham now has got to have second, third, and fourth thoughts about his king-jack offsuit.
Allen looks a little frustrated. He folds and shows, and Baisley's plan works.
Baisley wins the best kind of chips, uncontested.
I had the hand, Alan.
You had me beat?
I had jacks.
Really?
For a look at why Baisley's play worked, let's check in with bracelet winner Antonio Esfandiari for some pro analysis.
In this hand, Baisley shows us just how powerful it is to be last aggressor. Holding only an ace-8 of hearts, he puts in the 4th bet. If you're the first raiser or the second raiser and now it's raised again, how good do your 2 jacks really look? Baisley gets Jean-Robert to fold his 2 jacks. Cunningham mucks the king jack. He scoops a big pot. And the reason why he's able to do that is because he has an ace in his hand. By having one of the blockers, it's less likely that his opponents have an ace-king or pocket aces in their hand. Aggression wins.
I prefer playing passively and losing. You beat the traffic that way.
You've had plenty of practice at that. At one of the 16 outer tables, Ukrainian Anton Makievsky pinning his main event hopes on pocket queens against the ace-queen of Andrew Ferguson.
These players have virtually identical stacks.
Ferguson with a chance for a knockout. Here's the flop. And an ace in the window for Ferguson sends Makievsky to the edge of the edge.
The flop devastates Makievsky.
Turn card now. 6 of diamonds, no help.
We saw Makievsky with 1 foot out the door earlier on day 4. Now both his feet way out the door. Only the last queen in the deck would save Makievsky.
The river card, and there is the queen! The case queen saves Makievsky's main event.
Well, he started with the best hand, and he finished with the best hand, but in between, it looked bleak. Andy Ferguson now crippled.
You mentioned they began the hand with almost identical stacks. Ferguson left with just 14,000.
Live poker's so rigged.
Well, I don't speak his language, but Anton, I think, is very happy. A river rich with irony. The queen saved the Ukrainian, not the Brit. This was the scene on day 4. Anton Makievsky's all in for his tournament life with ace tray against Ben Lamb's pocket 10s, but Anton flopped trips and held on. If this 21-year-old kid has 9 lives, well, he's already used up 2 of them.
Anton has a mathematics degree, so he knows the simple math. A moment ago, he was 2% to still be standing here.
Back to the secondary featured table. Folded to Dwayne Alexander with pocket 8s for the 31-year-old Texan.
Haven't heard from him in a while. Congenial pro.
47,000 is the raise from Alexander. Folded around to Tony Hashem. Hashem on the Jack Links beef jerky hole cam king 10.
It's king 10 off, Tony. If you want more TV time, we'll send the cameras out to your home.
He's got almost 2 million, but he will sit this hand out to Matt Giannetti on the button. Poker pro living here in Vegas with pocket 10s.
He finished 521st at the 06 main event. Final table to pot limit Omaha event at the 09 World Series.
Born in Massachusetts, lives here in Vegas now, and a re-raise to 130,000. Over to Ben Lamb.
Ben Lamb.
Oh, angrily folds. No chance to play 6-4. So the raise back to Alexander.
Alexander concerned. He had raised an early position, and Giannetti trampled all over that raise.
Alexander with the pocket 8s coming up second best. Makes the call and will be out of position after the flop.
Is that a Longhorns logo on Giannetti's cap?
It is indeed. He attended the University of Texas for a couple of years. Here's the flop. Deuce, Jack 7, Giannetti's 10s. Keep a firm grip on this hand. Alexander checks. Giannetti checks his pocket 10s. Turn card. Queen of spades, no help to Alexander. And he checks it again. And these two continue their shy play.
Alexander showing no signs of strength, but Giannetti still won't pull the trigger.
River card, 6 of clubs.
True river card is the 6 of clubs.
The 8s are second best for Alexander, and he checks it again.
And now in position, Giannetti has got to feel good about his hand. Frankly, I thought he might have thought his pocket 10s were good on the turn.
Some of his chip stack. He started this hand with just under $1 million. He has Alexander covered. And there's a bet of 155,000.
He could get paid off. Giannetti checked the flop and the turn in position. So if I'm Alexander, I might put him on, say, ace king.
Will make a bet of 155,000.
Alexander giving this some thought and makes the call. And Giannetti confidently turns over his 10s.
Alexander and me are not as sharp as Giannetti.
So a pot of over 600,000 goes to Giannetti.
That was the quickest show of cards I've seen.
Is there such a thing as a fast roll?
Giannetti began the day with a small stack working towards chip average. You see Sam Barnhart of Little Rock is over $3 million. Daryl Jace has hit some hard times. And Joseph Chung's bid for back-to-back main event final tables is still viable. Back to the featured table. Action on Sebastian Rutenberg. He has the Jack Links beef jerky wild card hand.
If the wild card hand actually involved wild cards, I'd have a chance. I'm great at Suicide Kings and One-Eyed Jacks Wild.
Rutenberg under the gun with a raise to 44,000.
We say under the gun is the new button, so I'm going to say he's getting fancy with ace-5 suited.
Ballon called with ace-jack offsuit.
Surprised Jean Robert is journeying on. He's in early position with a marginal hand against a tough opponent. That's a recipe for disaster.
So the rest of the table has seen the two top stacks here commit themselves, and now they have to be extra careful entering the pot. Visser folds, as does Elder. Over to the button, Blake Bond. Ace-jack of diamonds.
That's playable. Come on in. Bond graduated from St. Olaf College in Northfield, Minnesota. I believe they are the Thundering Herd.
Well, the two big stacks from early position are in this hand, so Bond gives up the ace-jack.
Oh, please. I think I can win the main event with most players' discards.
Can you hold that hand on the side? I want to see that. I'm joking.
Balan joshing with Bolivar Palacios. So heads up Balan and Rutenberg with the wild card hand. Flop, trade 10 king, 2 spades.
Rutenberg had nearly a $2 million payday when he won the EPT Barcelona event in 2008.
He has chips in hand. And the wild card hand bet 60,000. Balan picked up a Broadway draw.
Rutenberg could be continuing here with any of those hands, but I'm emotionally committed to ace-5, nut flush draw, so I'll stick with it for one more street. And Jean Robert trying to decide if he's going to stick around with a gut shot.
Jean Robert starting the hand with almost 1.9 million, makes a raise to 150,000.
Balan with a lot of pep in his step on day 5. Rutenberg has the bigger stack. I don't think he's going anywhere with any of his possible hands.
And he does make the call for 90,000 more. We've got a pot of almost $500,000. Turn card 6 of clubs. Rutenberg checks this time.
A quick check from Rutenberg, but Jean Robert's raise meant he likely would check any of those hands now.
Jean Robert checks as well. River card.
Maybe the nut flush. I think he got there. He got there. He got there.
Maybe checks.
Okay, maybe he didn't get there.
Balan.
Jean Robert now could concede, or Jean Robert could push the big bluffing rock up the hill.
Balan hates to concede. Bets 250,000.
250,000.
You know, maybe Rutenberg got there and he's checked the raising line. If Rutenberg knew to check the nuts on the river, then he is a beast. I think he got there. Pop him, pop him, pop him,
Rutenberg
pop him.
reaching for chips.
Pop him, pop him, pop him, pop him.
A stack of those green chips worth $500,000.
Pop him.
And there's the pop. A check raised to 925.
He got there, Lon.
Which means you got there.
Or it could be a scintillating check raise bluff with Queen Jack. Either way, Jean Robert is done. He's done.
Balan would need about half his remaining stack to call.
Oh, he's done.
Balan does fold. Rutenberg had the ace-5 to win the Jack Links Beef Jerky wild card hand. Strike up the band.
He got there. I am the wild card hand king of the world.
You are the best 7 for 18 wild card hand picker in the world. Balan just over 1.4 million, which right now is slightly above the chip average with 151 players left. Ben Lamb is the current chip leader with 4.6 million.
But I'm not getting away from kings.
It's true. David Bach holds pocket kings and flopped a flush draw. German pro Max Heinzelmann playing for his role with pocket aces. Turn card 6 of hearts, and the look-alike of animated Max Rolfels is still ahead.
Heinzelmann has bled chips today. He's in good position to double up. He has to fade a king or any diamond.
The river card is the tray of diamonds, and the flush for Bach will send Max Heinzelmann to the rail, crushed like a can of cheap Hefeweizen.
Well, he takes it well, like he was free rolling, which he was, courtesy of Sean Deeb.
Almost 55,000 to Max Heinzelmann, and Bach is back chip leader once again, cresting the 5 million chip mark with just 150 players remaining in the main event. American poker superstar Jason Mercier upped his bracelet count to 2 by taking down the 6-handed $5,000 pot limit Omaha event and a first place prize of over $600,000. With both of his bracelets in PLO, Mercier is establishing himself as one of the best pot limit Omaha players in the world.
You know, it just feels amazing. Feels good just to close the job.
Jason is now on a special list of players who have won a couple of quick bracelets. The record close to unbeatable held by Jeff Madsen, who took down his second bracelet in 06 at the age of 21 years, 41 days, the year he won the Player of the Year honors. But Mercier, currently the youngest player right now to hold 2 World Series bracelets. Action at this feature table on 5-time bracelet winner Alan Cunningham after Ruben Visser raised it to 45,000 with ace-king. Alan calls with ace-queen.
Visser was born in 1989, and to celebrate that, he wears this sweatshirt every day.
Here's the flop. It is 10 ace-jack, a pair of aces for each. Visser's kicker makes him the heavy favorite. A Broadway draw for both players. Cunningham checks.
Just think if everyone did what Visser did, no one would ever ask, how old are you? And we'd all be a lot better at math.
They both check.
I think Visser was supposed to bet there.
Turn card is a queen and an ace-high straight for Visser. Allen caught aces up.
Hard to believe, but today it seems like Alan Cunningham folds when he should raise and bets when he should check.
Something is wrong with the universe. He does bet 55,000.
Visser with an international business administration degree from the University of Rotterdam.
Did you mention he was born in 1989? He makes the call. The river card. 4 of diamonds, not what Cunningham needed.
Well, if I were Visser, I would have raised on the turn. Try to get value when you have the nuts.
Cunningham.
I call. I didn't know how much I was going to bet. 80,000. Do I have to bet that whole amount now?
Cunningham wanted to bet.
He sets 80,000 up in his hand, and he says call before he releases the chips.
Well, I went forward, and he said I call.
He said call before he
But we
releases
don't
the
know.
chips.
I mean, people often, you never know how much they're going to bet exactly. Huh?
Not obligated.
But I have to bet something. Well, I don't even have to do that.
You can't
but-
pull chips back after you push them forward.
Well, you don't know
Hey,
how many
what are you
are
talking about? Of
released.
course, you can't go like this.
You don't know
He
how
didn't
many
do
are
that, though. He
released.
pushed them all like this. He went like this. He hasn't even released his chips yet.
I agree with him.
He has to have a choice of it. Actually, to be honest with you, he can still say 1 million.
Yeah, you can say whatever, but you got to bet the minimum.
I'm not going to do that with them nuts.
Well, Visser was quick on the trigger. He called before Allen finished his action.
You insta-called me.
Allen is obligated to bet at least 20,000, the amount of the big blind.
Let's put in 40 each.
And Visser is obligated to call 40,000.
I've straight opposite.
Nice hand.
Now they can showdown, and Allen can hand over the chips to Visser.
That's stupid. I suck.
I gave you an extra 20.
Yeah. No, you didn't do anything wrong. I'm just an idiot.
Well, it looked like Allen was going to bet 80,000, so he saved some chips because of Visser's mistake.
Yeah.
You were hoping you didn't say 1 million with the flush, right?
I had the ace of diamonds.
I understand, but once you said you called no matter what. Why did you bet 40 then?
Maybe I had the winner.
Allen takes a hit. He's down to about half the chip average at the outer tables of the Amazon room. Elia Lesra all in with 2 jacks. Andre Patachuk hopes his pocket nines can improve to score the knockout.
With that look from Ellie, the dealer better not put out a 9.
Well, he puts out a jack, a set for Elia Lesra. Straight flush draw for Patachuk. And not over yet. Turn card. Another 10. Ellie improves to jack's full.
Queen of diamonds, man, right?
With the queen of diamonds. It's good TV. I'm going to wait for Matthew in the parking lot.
Only a straight flush knocks out Lesra.
The river card does not give Andre the straight flush, and so Elia Lesra will double up to 779,000.
Elia Lesra is happy it wasn't good TV. Meanwhile, the 21-year-old Russian just lost more than a quarter of his chip stack.
Patachuk below $1 million. Ellie's only other main event cash came in 2004, and he can't light up to celebrate just yet, but Elia Lesra and his cigar will hang around a little longer.
All right, Matthew. We are friends now.
Just 145 players remain as day 5 is about to wrap up here at the Rio. 3 women still holding chips in this main event. Claudia Crawford with just over $2 million, Erica Motino with $932,000, and Amanda Musumeci sitting with $788,000. Claudia Crawford in a hand right now just re-popped the action to $90,000 with just King 5. She's jousting with Peus Hines, the original raiser, holding Ace 9.
Claudia's fiance is poker pro Gabe Costner. He finished 35th in last year's main event. Her goal is to finish higher than him and never let him forget it.
Hines does not back down, 4-betting to $241,000.
That 4-bet from Hines should shut down Claudia's business pre-flop.
Each taking measure of the other.
Make it 400.
Crawford now with a re-raise to $400,000.
Wow. There's bridled aggression and there's unbridled aggression, Lon. We are now in very unbridled territory.
This poker hand is a contest of wills and chip riffling also.
This is not your kitchen table poker game. It's been 5-bet, and neither player has much of a hand. Neither one will ever get a home game invite from me. They're too tough.
Hines has been a chip leader in this main event. He is like a backboard in tennis, though. He just keeps on coming.
Well, he's not done. These aren't calling chips he's taken out. You want unbridled, he says. I'll give you unbridled. Just chewing gum, putting together a 6-bet with ace-9 off.
He makes it 890,000. Crawford kicks it in. Payus Hines shows his 9.
You know he's from Germany?
You don't want to see what I had.
No, I'm just saying, I know.
I knew he was full of
No, I'm saying he's from.
I knew he was full of
Give both of them credit. Each read the other is weak. Hines with just a little more poker guts there.
I knew what you were doing. I just didn't have the balls.
Yeah, I figured you know what I mean,
I
you
know
know.
what you're doing.
Just
When
how
they
you...
show it on TV, you'll say, damn, she knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
Crawford has to walk off some of that steam. Payus Hines, once again the chip leader here with over 4.7 million.
Leave it all in the King 5 offsuit up there. I knew he was full of I knew he was full of
Come on.
But I 5-bet him, and he had the nerve to 6-bet me. If he's going to 6-bet me,
like a piece of tin fold.
I 5-bet him. If he had the nerve to 6-bet me, then he wins the pot. Sorry.
Costner trying to calm down his fiance.
Got an all-in and a call on
Sorry. You can bleep that out.
With those poker chops, I'm sure we'll see a little more of Claudia Crawford. Back to the secondary table. Matt Giannetti sitting here in seat 5, one of the big gainers on day 5. He started with just 114,000, now up to almost $1.3 million. That's more than a 1,000% increase to his stack, second only to Pear Lind. Mars Callahan also has impressed, running his stack up to over $1.5 million.
I'm with Mars Callahan from here till Oscar night.
Action on Giannetti on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam, 2 9s.
He was an engineering student at the University of Texas, dropped out after 2 years to pursue poker.
Giannetti raises to 45,000. Ben Lamb now on the button. Jack 10 off.
Lamb, I believe, dropped out of 2nd grade to play Pogs, but his parents talked some sense into him.
He has almost 4.6 million chips. The chip leader at this table, one of the top stacks in the room. Ben Lamb getting to work, a re-raise to 135.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again, Lon. Seriously, these people have got to stop dropping out of college. Get your education, get your degree, then get yourself a bracelet if you're good enough.
Feldman folds a suited ace. Alexander gives up his big blind.
I think I got
So
it.
the re-raise back to Giannetti and his pocket 9s.
I'm sure Giannetti not too comfortable playing the big stack and playing Ben Lamb out of position.
But Giannetti does call for 90,000 more, and Ben Lamb will now try to outplay or outdraw Giannetti and add to his big stack. Here's the flop. Trade deuce 5. Giannetti still good.
Safe flop for pocket 9s.
He does check. They both check.
Giannetti cautious out of position.
Turn card. Queen of diamonds. The 9s hold up so far. Giannetti checks again.
Giannetti knows Ben Lamb can bust him, so he's continuing to tread softly in the hand.
Ben Lamb has been known to bet in these situations.
And that he will do.
Ben Lamb working with that huge stack. Bets 160,000.
Lamb now using that huge stack and position to try to drive Giannetti out.
Giannetti out of position, but has the lead.
If Giannetti calls, he must figure he has the best hand.
And he does call, and he does have the best hand. Ben Lamb wondering what he can do on the river. The river does not hit Lamb. Giannetti checks again.
Giannetti very cautious the whole hand. And by playing passively, Giannetti allows Lamb to drive the action and continue to put himself in an awkward position.
Ben Lamb now makes it 275,000 worth of awkward.
Boy, Matt hates that king. He hates that king. Lamb might have had ace-king and got lucky. And maybe he's heard that Ben Lamb not only plays good, but runs good of late.
So sick you got that conversation going right before the hand started. I have no idea what's going on.
I think Giannetti was pretty sure he was ahead on the turn, not quite as sure anymore on the river.
Give me one more second.
Doesn't want to call, doesn't want to fold.
Giannetti certainly concerned about the 2 overcards on the board. He would need about 30% of his remaining stack to make the call.
speak more clearly.
But call he does, and Giannetti sniffs out the bluff.
We'll make the call. Showdown, please.
And Matt Giannetti cracks the Ben Lamb code. That was a stressful exercise.
Giannetti with a gutsy call, adding to his ever-growing chip stack.
Yeah, what a day for Matt Giannetti.
From a day 5 starting stack of 114,000, Giannetti now boasting 1.9 million chips. Ben Lamb gives up a few, but in the big picture, another fine day at the main event for the man they call Benba. And from nowhere, Matt Giannetti will be a day 6 force. Survive and advance can have many different meanings. Wow. For Anton Makievsky, it meant hitting a one-outer. For Jean-Robert Balland, it meant his usual tricks.
It's called positive reinforcement. You ever heard of Pavlov's theory?
And for Matt Giannetti, it meant a 16-fold increase to his stack. It's becoming clear this is anyone's main event.
Some people are here because they got some good hands. That's all I got here.
For Norman, Chad, and Kara Scott, I'm Lon McCarran. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.